Welcome back. We were always here. Stories of black inventors across the African diaspora. Well, this is a groundbreaking collection of tales that breaks the myths of African innovation and ingenuity. For too long, the contributions of black inventors and entrepreneurs have been erased from the narrative of human progress. This book sets the record straight, revealing the unknown stories of Africans who are solving African problems for African people. Author Dr Candice Bailey joins us now virtually to tell us more about the book. Dr. Bailey, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, Superior. Thank you so much for having me.
This is such a valuable read, but why do you think this is such an important book to read? What kind of value can we derive out of reading this book?
I think you just said it, Superior. Black inventors and the history of black people has often been erased and ignored.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we can rectify that and help young people understand the importance of, reaching for their dreams, being able to reach for the stars, being able to do what, that the sky's the limit. Mm-hmm. And that's really what the point of the book. We wrote the book for teenagers, for them to understand that, you can do what you want to do, so despite your circumstances, despite whatever challenges you come across. There are all these inventors that we've spoken about that have done amazing things, and you can too.
And I see that the book is divided into two sections, the modern era and the golden era. Now, just to explain to our readers, the golden era perhaps was the time of the Second Industrial Revolution between 1870 and 1944. And according to the book, this was a time when the world saw a great variety of interventions. But the way the book is written is that the modern era, which is 1944 onwards, is before the golden era. Why did you do it like this?
Once again, because we want to reach out to teens, obviously that golden era, we can't ignore those inventions because they're inventions that have made our lives so much easier. If you think about an invention like the automated elevator door. Superior, I think you've never ever had to open an elevator door manually.
Right.
So those are things, exactly. So things that that we don't know life without, but it has made our lives easier. But the modern era are people that young people can actually identify with. So we thought we'd put them in the bulk of the book so that they can see them, they can access them and read them and really just engage with them more thoroughly. So there are a lot of young people in the book that we've introduced, and the stories are all short, 4 to 5 pages long, so enough to keep a teenager's attention span.
And as a collective, you managed to speak to some of the inventors. So what are some of the common themes that came through in this book? What's the popular sentiment that runs through it?
Popular sentiment is hard work through education is so important, Superior. Okay. And that I think is one of the things that I really want to highlight, that all the inventors came up against challenges, but they kept working. They went to school. They did their time at school. And through that, they were then able to persist and persist and really succeed. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. And failure they weren't deterred by failure. There was one of the scientists, Dr Kelly Shibali, Prof. Kelly Shibali. In fact, he's at UCT. He's a chemist at UCT. Now, what he's done is he's responsible for the compound that leads to a single dose injection to tackle malaria. Yeah. And in the book, we talk about how he actually failed grade 7. So he's from Zambia, and when he failed grade 7, he had to take this long train ride back home. And he was so motivated by the fact that he never ever wanted to feel this failure again. And that's what motivated him to really work hard. And now he's a prof at UCT doing amazing things for ordinary people like us.
Mm-hmm. And as you said earlier, there are more than 40 stories of black inventors. I would imagine it must be hard to pick, but if you had to choose one, which one is your favorite and why?
Really hard to pick one. I think one of my favorites is gonna be Neo Turi, the man who created the Pele box. Now, the Pele box, it's a mobile solution for people to collect their tablets, and it was because he had TB and he had a challenge. He was a professional. He needed to go to a clinic to pick up medication, and it was too cumbersome for him. And that's how he developed this box where you could remotely pick up your medication. They could load the medication into the box. He could then pick it up, and he could save all this time. Another invention that really makes life work. The Pele box is working in South Africa, and it's doing a great job for thousands, hundreds of thousands, if I can put it that way, of people who can access their medication remotely. It saves them time. Access to healthcare is a very big issue in South Africa. It's difficult for lots of people, particularly those in rural areas. So the Pele box is an initiative that's really helping them. So I think that's one that really resonates with me. Among many, as you.
What I like about this book is that, whosoever is reading it, get some sort of idea or inspiration to push whatever idea they may have. And I suppose one of the stories in this book is that of Kiribone and Kekeleso Tselane, who invented the plastic eco-bricks. Now, they are among the women inventors featured in this book. Tell us more about their challenges as Black women inventors.
Imagine, one of the first challenges, if you can think about, construction industry is a male-dominated industry, Superior. Here, these women who come up with this invention, and the first thing that they get told is, what do you know about bricks? Sure. Never mind the construction industry,
Imagine.
So they get, and what they said, once again, that theme that I spoke about earlier, being met with challenges and actually not being deterred by them. So the first time they introduce this brick, they get told, there's a challenge around it. It's not good enough. What they do, instead of saying, okay, this is the end of the road for us, they go back to the drawing board. They work on the eco-brick again. And when they then do present it to the public later on, to the construction industry, it is then a viable solution. So once again, that theme of hard work coming up against challenges and really just persisting.
Dr. Bailey, we see a new invention of, or rather, we see a new generation of Black inventors. But the only problem is that if they have an idea, taking it to implementation stage, there's so many stumbling blocks along the way. There's issues of capacity or the lack thereof, or the lack of mentorship, the lack of funding. And I suppose this generation is quite different from the earlier generation that you are documenting in this book. So what are some of the key lessons that the current crop of Black inventors can draw from the crop of inventors that you document in this book in terms of getting an idea out there and, making it and just giving it life?
So we tried to actually interview some of the inventors that were still alive. So there was some that were still alive. And one of the inventors, his name is Victor Lawrence. He is a Ghanaian-born inventor, and he now lives in the States. What he is responsible for is this amazing fast internet speed that we are enjoying at the moment. So and one of the things that when we spoke to most of the inventors, we asked them a question saying, what is the advice you'd give inventors? And what he said, and it's a line that really stays with me. The line he said to me was, slowly, slowly eat the monkey. Inventions don't take, they're not overnight. Sometimes they are overnight successes. They can, be born out of very quickly. But sometimes it takes a lot of hard work, and you need to keep going. You need to keep persisting. You'll find that in the book, a lot of the inventors that we speak to have more than 100 patents. They've got many, many patents there. So, it shows that once they got going, they found an innovation, they were able to register a patent, but then they went and found another patent, another solution. So it's about finding solutions for every day. So another thing, just to answer your question, another thing that I think inventors should be inspired by is looking at our lives. Everyday lives. What are the things that are problems for us every day, and how can you find solutions for those things? Because those are the things that will really make a difference in people's lives.
All right, Dr. Bailey, I quite like that line you just said, that you need to keep going until you find the solutions. I mean, that's a mantra that drives us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Mpiwe Kipo.
Thank you. Well, as the stories in We Were Always Here comes to a close, the legacy of Black innovation and ingenuity lives on. We're just joined by Dr. Candice Bailey talking to us about why it is so important to read this book.